Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2019 action film The Mercenary, a film that is directed by Jesse V. Johnson and it stars Dominique Vandenberg, Louis Mandylor, Carmen Agenziano, Manny Alva and Brad Ashton. Now, this is a film that focuses on a group of mercenaries. It used to be like ex-legionnaires, or some of them were, and they now work as mercenaries, and they are hired guns, and you see a whole montage at the beginning of the film of them doing jobs all over the world, taking out whatever, and butchering people, killing soldiers, doing all sorts of jobs, and they're all lethal killers. And then there is one particular mission that they do, and Dominique Vandenberg's character Maxx is essentially left for dead at the end of this mission. He's betrayed by one of his own men and left for dead. And the leader of the group, Leclerc, played by Louis Mandylor, believes him to be dead, even though they're old comrades. So they move on. However, he's not dead, and he's gravely injured, and he is saved by the local priest, who takes him back to his parish and nurses him back to health. And then Maxx takes this opportunity to reflect on his life, vows to serve the church, if you like, do odd jobs around the church, and lo and behold, his old comrades come back to this jungle to work for the local drug cartel, and they cross paths with Maxx once more and the church, and Maxx vows to defend those people in the village and the people closest to him at the church at all costs. Right, so what are my thoughts on The Mercenary? Well, at first glance, this film, and certainly the impression I got within the first 10 minutes of watching this film, was it seemed like a pretty bog standard action flick with slickly filmed action scenes, and especially the martial arts stuff, and there's some good gunfight scenes, and this whole montage at the beginning is a bit mad to watch. It's just death after death, and people being butchered left, right and centre, and people being kicked in the face left, right and centre, and it all seemed a bit mad and a bit manic and a bit generic within the first 10 minutes. And then once he's injured, it kind of falls into a much more thoughtful story for the most part, when he is reflecting on his past escapades as a mercenary, and he decides to live a more tranquil life with the church. And then obviously when his old team come back and he has to defend the people in the village and the church, and kind of go back to the violence that he has renounced and has no interest anymore, so that he can protect them, it becomes full on action once again, but it has more meaning than what you saw at the beginning of the film. So I think, in actual fact, this film, I thought for the most part was quite slickly done, and quite an interesting story. I like stories like this, and this film is very reminiscent of the Kurt Russell science fiction film Soldier, if you've seen that film. And in that film, Kurt Russell is a very similar scenario. He's left for dead, and he kind of holds up with these locals on this planet, and then he has to defend them against this highly skilled team that come to take over the planet. A very, very similar idea. Now, I really like the Kurt Russell film Soldier, even though it was a box office flop, and it wasn't well received at the time, even though I think people are a little bit more tolerant and affectionate towards it these days. So if you like that film Soldier, like stories like that, you might find something in this to appreciate. It's not just your thoughtless generic action flick. There's actually a little bit of thought gone into this, and they've created quite a melancholy character here who has very little to say, but if you like, his actions speak louder than his words. I think the guy who plays Father Elias, Carmen Agenziano, is like his mentor, and he gives him advice, and he very much who nurses him back to health and gives him all this advice, and and very much helps him down this new path that he wants to choose, and was a very nice character. And the big complaint here is that when he does go up against his old team, the only one who's got anything about him or any personality is Louis Mandalore, who plays the leader of this team of mercenaries. All the others are like cannon fodder, and they've got very, very cliched characters, very over the top cartoon-like characters who you just couldn't believe they are military men or mercenaries or trained soldiers. They were too mouthy or too cartoonish, or it was hard to believe they were ever in the military. And some of them were supposedly Navy SEALs for 10 or 15 years. There's no way they would have lasted 2 minutes in the Navy SEALs with the discipline that they had at all. I found most of the other characters in this film, apart from Maxx, the priest, mentor, and the Leclerc character, all of them were just totally unbelievable, and they were just cannon fodder to be killed, kicked, shot, butchered. So we kind of let the film down a bit. I thought the action scenes for the most part were really nicely filmed. It's actually really quite a brutal film as well. Lots of blood, lots of gore, stabbings, and and it all felt quite impactful. The gunshot wounds and the kicks and the flips and the knife impact things, and so it was nicely edited. The fight scenes are nicely put together, nicely choreographed, and it was actually quite a decent watch. This, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. I quite enjoyed it. I was quite entertained by it. I thought the story, while nothing special, was simple enough to drive the story forward, and I thought all the action scenes were put together really quite well and well choreographed too. So that's my review for The Mercenary. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and of course I'll see you back for more reviews on Screen Stars.